I had just moved to New Jersey, and I was eager to explore the dating scene in my new city. On my very first day using Tinder, I matched with a girl named Rachel. Her photos showcased a radiant smile, and her profile exuded a genuine charm. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, and it felt like we had an instant connection. Over the next few days, our chats grew more personal, revealing stories, secrets, and dreams. Rachel was witty, charming, and everything I could have hoped for in a match. As our conversations deepened, so did our plans. Rachel suggested we meet at a small, cozy restaurant in a charming corner of town. Our date was set for a chilly Friday night. I couldn't help but feel excited and a little nervous as I dressed up and headed to the restaurant. The restaurant had a warm and inviting atmosphere with soft lighting. I opted for a corner table and ordered a drink, eagerly awaiting Rachel's arrival. Finally, she walked through the door and my heart skipped a beat. She looked just as beautiful as her photos, stunning and full of charm. We greeted each other with warm smiles and our conversation flowed naturally, just as it had online. I was captivated by her stories, her laughter, and her vibrant personality. As the evening progressed, we shared a delicious meal and a bottle of wine. Time seemed to fly by, and I felt a connection with Rachel that I hadn't experienced in a long time. It was getting late, and I excused myself to use the restroom, leaving my wallet and phone on the table. But when I returned, everything had changed. The warm, inviting ambiance of the restaurant had transformed into a chilling nightmare. Rachel was no longer the charming girl I'd met. Her smile had disappeared, replaced by a cold, calculating look in her eyes. She slid a knife from her purse onto the table, and my heart raced. "Give me your wallet and your phone," she demanded, her voice icy and menacing. I was in shock, struggling to comprehend what was happening. I hesitated for a moment, unable to fathom that this charming girl had become a criminal. She repeated her demand, her hand trembling slightly as she held the knife. Fear consumed me, and I didn't want to provoke her further. Slowly, I reached for my wallet and phone, sliding them across the table, with her loot in hand. Rachel stood up and backed away slowly, her eyes locked onto me. She gave me one last chilling smile before she turned and walked out of the restaurant. Panic surged through me as I watched her disappear into the night. I immediately tried to call the police, but Rachel had taken my phone, leaving me with no means of contacting anyone. I approached the restaurant staff, who called the authorities for me. They were sympathetic but couldn't provide any leads. Rachel had vanished into thin air. The police initiated an investigation, but it seemed as if she had disappeared without a trace. The eerie encounter left me shaken and wary of dating apps. It was a stark reminder that not everyone you meet online is who they claim to be. In the weeks that followed, I couldn't shake the memories of that fateful night. The charm, the connection, and the betrayal had left an indelible mark. It was a lesson that I would carry with me, a lesson that trust should be earned, even in the world of online dating. My hope was that my experience would serve as a cautionary tale for others, a reminder to always be vigilant when meeting new people, no matter how charming they may seem. It's been 4 long years since that chilling incident took place, and I've steered clear of Tinder ever since. The scars from that night run deep, a constant reminder that trust should never be handed out lightly, especially in the digital realm. The world of online dating is a mix of the good, the bad, and the unknown. It was a hard-learned lesson, but I emerged from the ordeal with a newfound sense of caution. The allure of connecting with someone through an app was overshadowed by the haunting memory of that night. I couldn't help but wonder how many other unsuspecting souls had fallen victim to someone like Rachel. Though time had passed, the trauma lingered, and I remained vigilant about who I interacted with, both online and in person. My hope was that my story would serve as a stark reminder that we should always exercise caution, no matter how charming a person may seem. Trust, I had learned, was something that should be earned, not freely given, especially in the digital age. In the years that followed, I focused on building relationships through more conventional means. I had come to appreciate the value of face-to-face encounters and genuine connections that didn't involve swiping left or right. It was a safer and more fulfilling way to find true companionship. Though the scars would always be there, they served as a testament to my resilience and my ability to adapt and protect myself from the darker side of the digital dating world. It was a painful lesson, but one that had changed the way I navigated the turbulent waters of love and connection, reminding me to always stay cautious and never take things at face value.
Tinder had become a modern gateway to the unpredictable world of dating, where connections were made through swipes and hearts were either broken or mended in the digital realm. Sarah, a 27-year-old woman with a thirst for adventure, had recently dived into this world in search of companionship. Little did she know that her Tinder date would take her to the brink of horror and survival. It was a gloomy, overcast evening when Sarah received a message from a seemingly charming young man named Alex. His profile showcased a rugged charm, and his messages were witty and engaging. They exchanged a few messages, and Alex quickly suggested they meet at a cozy local pub. The invitation seemed intriguing, and Sarah, ever the adventurous soul, agreed. The evening arrived, and Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nervousness as she stood in front of the dimly lit pub. The air was thick with suspense, but her curiosity propelled her inside. She spotted Alex at a corner table, a glint of anticipation in his eyes. He stood and greeted her with a warm smile, making her feel at ease almost instantly. They shared laughter and stories, sipped craft beers, and connected over their shared love for hiking and travel. As the evening progressed, Sarah found herself drawn to Alex's charisma. He was charming and had a magnetic presence that was hard to resist. The hours slipped away unnoticed, and soon, the pub began to empty out as closing time approached. Alex, not ready to end the night, suggested they take a short walk along the dimly lit streets nearby. Sarah, her judgment slightly clouded by the charming facade Alex had presented, agreed. They walked hand in hand, the world around them silent, and their footsteps echoing in the stillness. But as they turned a corner into a desolate alley, an unsettling sensation crept over Sarah. Alex's demeanor had shifted, and the once charming glint in his eyes had transformed into something dark and menacing. Panic surged through Sarah, and her heart raced as she realized she was in a perilous situation. She attempted to pull away from his grip, but his fingers tightened, preventing her escape. "Where do you think you're going, sweetheart?" Alex's voice had transformed into a sinister growl, chilling Sarah to the bone. Fear gripped Sarah's every thought as she struggled to free herself. With all her might, she yanked her arm away, sending her purse flying to the ground. Desperation in her eyes, she noticed a discarded beer bottle, glinting in the dim light. In a flash, she reached for it, her trembling hands gripping it tightly. With a swift, primal instinct, Sarah swung the beer bottle with all her strength, smashing it against the side of Alex's head. The impact was brutal, sending a shard of glass cutting into his skin. He howled in agony and stumbled backward, clutching his bleeding head. It was her moment of escape. Sarah didn't waste a second. Her heart pounding like a drum, she sprinted down the alley, her breath ragged, tears streaming down her face. Panic and adrenaline surged through her as she searched for help. She stumbled upon a nearby convenience store and rushed inside, gasping for air. The store clerk, alarmed by her disheveled appearance, immediately called the police. Sarah recounted the horrifying ordeal to the dispatcher, her voice trembling as she described the eerie transformation of her Tinder date into a menacing stranger. Within minutes, the police arrived at the store and took Sarah's statement. They also dispatched a team to the alley where the terrifying encounter had taken place. Meanwhile, paramedics tended to Alex's injuries, who was now under police custody. Sarah's heart was still pounding as she sat in the police station, reliving the night's horrors over and over in her mind. The officers reassured her, and with Alex in custody, they believed she was safe. In the following days, the police uncovered unsettling details about Alex's past. He had a history of violence and a record of similar incidents. They discovered he had used Tinder as a tool to prey on unsuspecting women, luring them into precarious situations. Sarah's courage had inadvertently put an end to his reign of terror. The legal process unfolded, and Sarah was asked to testify against Alex in court. Her bravery and quick thinking led to his conviction, resulting in a lengthy prison sentence. Sarah had not only survived a horrifying Tinder date, but had also helped protect potential future victims. Despite her harrowing experience, Sarah emerged from the darkness of that night with newfound strength. She became an advocate for online dating safety, sharing her story to raise awareness and urging others to stay vigilant. She encouraged everyone to trust their instincts and take precautions when meeting strangers from dating apps. Sarah's resilience was a testament to the power of survival, and her story served as a chilling reminder of the potential dangers lurking behind the screens of our digital lives. In the end, she emerged as a survivor, having turned a night of terror into a catalyst for change.